retro gamers. Everybody's doing well today. Bit of a disappointing video, I can already tell you right from the start here. I've had a few problems and I've tried to sort them out. Well, that's a lie. I didn't even try and sort them out. I tried to deviate in a completely different direction and failed with that. I'll explain a little bit more for those of you that are interested. And then what I'm going to do is start another fresh game. What I want to focus on in this new one is making sure I get them screen transitions down right from the word go and the flow of the game, in and out of game over, the main menu, options menu, etc. Make sure there's no cock-ups. Now I'm sure with spiky in space there we can easily recover from that. It's just I really don't fancy it at the moment. You know, I've tried rolling back to a different state in GitHub. Got that music. Yeah, because I'm getting basically into what's happened today now. Basically, I was keeping all my projects in one GitHub purely for ease for myself and even for you guys. If you click on my repo, you see all the projects there, you know. But it caused a lot of problems when I tried to revert. I think I've took several zips of the different stages of the project, so I'm sure I've got one that works, but it's losing so much of my work. I don't feel like restarting from that stage at the moment. I'd rather start from scratch and have a clean slate. Aside from that, I did do two other things today. I created a Nintendo NES Hello World. That was relatively easy, copying a tutorial. I used a simple program called NES ASM. It was similar to how I used to do Pasmo on the channel within, you know, just over a week ago and since the start. And I managed to easily compile an 8x8 sprite on a NES. That was the easiest one of all of the things I've done. However, I got a little bit scared by how the NES lays out sprite maps. You've probably seen it before. I've seen it, you know, even when the game used to crash, you used to sometimes see a sprite map where all the little 8x8 squares are on the map in what looks like no particular order whatsoever, you know. And obviously a sprite is probably 6 8x8 units together or something like that. So that put me off, and I started thinking, oh, I don't really know how. It looks to me like you need to do all the files in all the sprites into one file in a sprite sheet, and then have it broken up into these weird 8x8 bits, which I didn't really understand. So I moved on from that. Then I went to C64. Started reading about how to compile assembly language for that. I ran into a lot of forum posts explaining a lot of the limitations of the 6502. And I can't remember them off the top of my head, but some of them were quite glaring. And I thought to myself, why not stick with the Z80, but try and get something a bit more powerful than a Spectrum? Then I thought MSX. Haven't yet done that. But what I did do was a Sega Master System Hello World. Again, I copied all the code from a tutorial, and I used a completely different dev environment. I used something called Context. I could quickly show it here now. yeah, so again, this I followed completely off a tutorial. But I love how this works, right? I'll just run you through the tutorial really fast. I'm definitely going to be turning my attention to this system. The only reason I'm not making a video about it right now is because I don't know enough about it. I've managed to get a string, figured out how to do a string. Thing is with the Master System, has no ROM, it seems. There's no sprite, there's no font, there's no nothing. And at 0, we start. There are some sort of routines. I'm still learning, but there's some that can be called, for example, the pause button, and he's just set it to do nothing. Kind of understand that. That must be. I reckon you could probably delete this. Right? Yeah, it compiled. It compiled fine without that there. So I don't know why he's put that into a hello world. What's the point in putting that in there? To be honest, but it's obviously something you do need to know. Otherwise, you wouldn't have put it there. In the other tutorial I saw on this, the other one, they had done a whole bunch of these, not just this. There was like about 12 of them, and they'd done it in a loop as well, so it made it even more confusing. Anyway, that's something that's something I've been doing today, and I will be looking at a lot more. It's not that far different, as far as I can tell. I don't like how you had to put a full stop in front of the instructions. I guess that's just the assembler that I'm using now with this particular system. As you see it, you might be able to make it out. Hello Sega, retrocoder is live. In the tutorial, he basically just shows you how to. You can't even see the options. Shame. Basically shows you that you go into options, and I quite liked this. I wish I'd found this. You know, if I'd have found this earlier, I might not have never done the spectrum, to be honest, because he set it up so easily. Don't understand what this P does. You know, it says file path only, but I would never have been able to do this by myself without following the tutorial. I basically set up an F9 button to do compile, and F10 to open Fusion emulator. That's it. But I had to put all these little. Look, that is a weird instruction in it. What the hell's that? But with thanks to the tutorial writer there, I was able to get it to compile, get it to say hello Sega. So watch this space. As soon as I figure out how to put graphics on the screen, I'll be doing something similar to what we've done with the Spectrum. Just very basic games, trying to do collision detection and stuff like that. Anyway, let's get back to VS Code. Hey, Micro. Good to see you, man. Yeah, sorry I got on a bit late. I was trying to come up with something decent to do today, the session, but instead I'm just going to mess around with this space taxi stuff and probably make very little progress, I'm afraid. I don't remember how. Oh yeah, C-Spec. I've been doing so many different hardware emulation now and different dev processes today. That oh god, bigger. Where's VS Code gone? No probs, Micro. Of course, take your time, man. I'm having a minor technical hitch here. VS Code's playing up. Just on the stream only. Close it in. Oh yeah, there's another big thing I done earlier, which I'll wait until you're back and I'll explain properly. But it has to do with the ZX Next, and it's not good news, I'm afraid, for me. But yeah, there's absolutely no lesson plan or session plan here. Just trying to play around with this car movement, get it running. Oh dear. Oh, I didn't build. Connection refused. I've got that one. I think I'm running in next mode. So I've got that message when I tried to next game. Hmm. Wonder why that is. So I set C-Spec up to work in next mode, and ever since then, can't open it in 48K mode either. I mean, I can see that it's in 48K mode. It was never resetting the it was never not connecting before. Hey, An absolute pain. I mean, I know you don't need that, but it didn't really make a connection. Some weird stuff. Oh my goodness, hello Mike. I must have muted myself somehow. Good to see you, man. I've just been there chatting away for 20 minutes to nobody. I do apologise, everyone. Basically, I don't know how much I cut off, but I've had a right day and a half trying to sort loads of stuff out. Yeah, nightmare. I hope I didn't mute myself right from the start because I explained loads of stuff about where I'd gone wrong with the previous project and what I'd done today. Oh well. Long story short, I tried to set up a next game, found out that you've got to use that SD card thing, and the workflow's pretty nasty. I don't really like that. And then I went on to do a NES. I've got an 8x8 sprite drawn on the NES, and that was actually really quick and easy using some NES ASM. But it has that weird sprite sheet thing on the NES, you know, like I think every sprite has to be a part of a sheet and they're split up into 8x8 chunks that seem in any particular order. Yeah, it is nice, but I'm sad that because I basically messed up with GitHub. I had all my projects in one GitHub, and I thought that that was nice and easy for me and everybody else who wanted to use it. Yeah, but then I've tried to roll back, and it's just, and you know, luckily I took a load of zips along the way, but it started rolling back my other project, and I could never find the exact point in time of Spiky in Space that I wanted to go back to. The long story short, I got a bit stressed out with that and just thought, you know what, I've lost loads of work on that now. I don't fancy just opening that project up right now and repairing that. So I'd rather start afresh. That led me on to all these other systems that I wanted to try. You know, I thought, oh, I can take this opportunity to do a next sort of sprite drawing video. But oh god, it's a nasty workflow. You have to get the C-specs running with the next OS. You have to have a virtual SD card. Then you write your code in here, compile it. This is just when you want to test it, you know. Yeah, and I did at that point. I stopped completely. I thought I don't want to have to compile my code here just to see if it works, and then I'd have to open a third-party app, move it to a virtual SD card, mount that SD card into my next emulator, run it, find out oh it crashes, and then do the whole thing again. You know, I thought I'm not going to be good enough at coding to do. The NES looks promising, to be honest. I got the NES like hello world, for want of a better word. I just drew Mario's head within minutes. But then I thought I started reading about the 6502, and I saw lots of limitations. Hello, viable clan member. Nice to have you with us, man. Unfortunately, you've jumped in at a time where I'm really at a stopping point. I've just had a snag on my project, and now I've hit a hardware problem where I can't connect to the emulator. If I ever get... Oh, thank you for the follow, my dude. Most excellent of you. Drop that token in there. Well done, man. Thank you. Yeah, definitely next time. I mean, I'm going to carry on here, get something going, even if I have to use Fuse emulator and just load it from the command line. I had a lot of help starting this compiler up, so when it's broken, it's like, oh, what do I do? Only the connection though, it's only the port. Everything compiles fine. Press F5 to open it, tries to run it up there, and it says connection refused. I even reckon if I turn my computer off and on, it might work. But try that tomorrow. I guess the only way I can really quickly do it is just double click in the SNA. There we go. It runs in there, but that's it. I've got to put it over the top of the over the top. Let me just move that. Oops. I've got so many layers on this particular street. There we go. So I guess I'm just going to have to run it in Fuse. Little bit of a pain, but not too bad. And I'll shrink that so I can leave it open all the time. Yo, Micro. Yeah, I've had a day and a half, man. Hey, Micro, was my voice on when you popped on? I think I was muted the whole time. If you remember, we got this working with the Frost. Oh, it doesn't seem to want to work in Fuse as well as it did. There we go. It's got a bit of thrust going on, a bit of gravity. And the left-right movement's too quick. Oh, I'd say do have like a little bit more thrust as well, just a touch. That's actually all right, to be honest. To move left and right smoothly, we'll have to do the bit rolling thing. There's no other way around it. I'll just let that crash because I'm going to leave that open. It was on, good. So at least some of the stuff I said wasn't gone. So I guess to have the sprite shift to the left and right one bit at a time, I either have to have. I mean, I've seen it done before where people literally copy that and they'll have all different frames. I don't personally like that approach, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a good approach. I've definitely seen it done. If we made a copy of the sprite every time, we could leave this one untouched, draw the copy after we've rotated it to the right amount. So the right pain, this something I've never done before. I've done it successfully with a background. We just rolled it to the left and it looked like a bar moving to the left. It's a bit different when you have to control it with the player's input. Perhaps, no, I was going to say just lower that, but it's still going to look a bit. Maybe I have to do pre-shifted sprite. The Sega Master System does look really promising. I've managed to get the font written up on that to say hello world. Sadly, I didn't learn how to draw a sprite. Otherwise, I probably would have just stuck with that. Think about this logically. What would be the best approach? With a pre-shifted sprite, you'd actually have another like you'd have another one like that on the width. So your car is now actually 3 bytes wide, yeah. But you would only see 2. And I have seen this done in examples. And you would have to do something like, I don't know the best way of doing it. You know what? I'll use an art program for this. It's easier than trying to do it with the numbers. Yo mods, move by 2 pixels. Okay, that sounds good. I'll stick to that as the template. Let me get this on the screen so it doesn't get too boring. I don't think I saved my car, but I was quite happy with the car. But no, sadly it's not there. (24:8) car. Try and draw it similar to how I had it because it was quite good. The little sprite. Something along these lines. Good evening, Vulcan. Yeah, 1 pixel might be too much hassle, yeah. But we just need a little bit of smoothness, that's all. But yeah, for those of you that didn't hear, I did manage to get a ZX Next project from running. But it's a right hassle of a workflow, to be honest. Perhaps I will do it, but I need to become more accustomed to it before I bring it online. So I'd export that, even though it's the same as what I've already got. Right, we're getting there now. It never likes exporting after you've selected something. In fact, look, it's not even going to let me export. The only way I can do it is selecting all that, doing it. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm sure I just moved it 2 there, but it doesn't. Like I missed one there. No biggie. That's it. I'm thinking. I'm going to rotate all three, obviously, one by one. You know what I mean? But it'll happen so quickly. It'll look instantaneous. This is okay for a start. It's going to be just, this is the first sort of attempt at this movement. I did make a pre-shifted sprite before. It was like a ball. I've done it as a tutorial. It had XOR'd layer sprites and everything on it. Pretty cool. Of course, I'll have to do the reverse of this as well. Flip it. It could get a bit tricky otherwise, yeah. Okay, one more. Cool. At least I can do right now. Pretty much is ancient, isn't it? Let me hide that paint because I want to get it back later. Okay, so we've got 5 different states of movement. That's what I was a little bit concerned about here. Of course, we want to do 24/8, which I don't even know if we've got. Don't. Some of these are better than this. Oh yeah, I saw on my GitHub a better version of doing this as well, but I won't bother to change it just yet. It's only a minor tweak. Just copy that. It works. It works. Might not be the best way of doing it. Oh, 8. 8? No, 16. Wait. It's 8. I've only got to go down 8 times. 7 actually. Okay. So I guess it's all about just nudging that on. How best to do that. I did like the just rolling it idea, but I think this is easier a lot in the long run on the brain. Yeah, I guess it's very important. It's like the sign between a good game and a bad game, isn't it? If you've got clunky movement. That X is so hard to do smooth though, isn't it? You know, especially at speed. Like this game is quite a quick game. Was it easy on the Vic? I tried C64 today, Microman, but I got instantly discouraged by it by actual Commodore forum members. I can't remember what they said now against it, but it put me off. Talking about how you got to know loads of tricks to do the sprite drawing and stuff. Said you can't just use the scroller, you'll end up running out of memory or something. So I've ended back in the good old 48K. But basically, the only way I can think of is having a number defined as a byte, say what offset we're on, what frame. I know I've got my direction. I could just put player direction left right. This is a different issue, by the way. But I'm actually going to set a bool, say player facing right. Through. That'll be for later when we want to flip it. And then I guess player probably reuse this for the right and left. Player sprite movement frame. F sprite frame. Then probably a constant for the length. That's 3 times 8, just in case anyone sure you all did. New topic. You know what? That's where I done that tutorial with the pre-shifted sprites. Someone on that website. But hey, look at that Manic Miner. This was it. This was the one I followed with the ball guy. I think he's changed the sprite now though. We're doing something similar already, but I'm just trying to figure out how he decides what frame to draw. Little bomb guy, yeah. I swear he changed that because I remember doing that tutorial like 3 months ago when I started. I think that's the very first thing I ever did. That's where I got that YX to pix from and all that. And then after that, I realised it was a bit advanced for me at the time. So I went on to that Jonathan Caldwell's book, and that was it. I started streaming after I'd done sort of most of the book. I hadn't even done double buffering at the time, had I? I'd got to there and stopped. Actually animating. Yeah, but what is an animation is other than just moving some pixels? I mean, depends how you define animation, doesn't it? Because even moving a sprite from left to right is actually a form of animation. You know what I mean? Technically. I know what you mean. Most people, including myself, you think of animation as actual like keyframe animation with the arms moving up and down and stuff like that. You know, it's just a way of phrasing it, I guess. Some people use the word animation just to move, maybe a bit, but I make the same generalization that you do. There should be, well, movement code just says it better, doesn't it? And then animation should be the keyframe style. But this kind of is the same as a keyframe animation. It's just that you're moving him to the right rather than like doing a wheelie or something. You know, it could easily just be doing a wheelie. Or what I'm trying to think is how are we going to set this mathematically? Like as we hold D key to move right, we need to know like I guess it's something to do with cross side force, which when it gets to 255 will tick up by 1 and move. So really I want that to be a measure of 1, 2, 5. I guess really I want that to be 256 divided by 5. That even makes sense. And then I could just say, I mean, what is that? Hover over it. Like 50 something, isn't it? 51. Is it 255 divided by 5 I want? No, it's 256 because when it gets to 255 it still hasn't technically moved up, has it? Yeah, that's what I thought. So 51 is the chunk. 51 is that value. And I guess I'm going back to my dumbass hard coding brain here, but I could just say if it's 51, you know, if it's I could just add this up or have a separate one or just take the lower byte of the if it's 51 it's this, if it's between 51 and 102 it's this. Yeah, there's got to be a better way, isn't there? Minecraft VR. That's brilliant, man. I was getting heavily recommending Minecraft on YouTube today. Yeah, the reason I went for 256, I don't think it would make a huge difference anyway. But for it to actually move, 255 would never move it. If you could only get to 255 max, I know it's irrelevant really because we're only choosing what frame to draw anyway, not actually moving the car. But do you see what I mean? If it reached 255 and then went back to 0, for example, it would never move. As far as I know, that is actually the right amount to directly divide it by 5. And it should have an even amount, like milliframes. Frames. Keep having an idea on the tip of my brain, but I can't get it out. It basically involves just measuring the low byte on the velocity, which we already have, and coming up with a calculation to choose what frame. That's what I'm going to do. So, oh, by the way, going a bit off on a tangent as I always do, I found out today you can do if there something load a BS for cow poop else load a real S end if, and that is a conditional load, and I've just stumbled across that. Doesn't quite fit like that. Yeah, I've seen people doing it. This would be a constant, I think. I think it might have to be a constant. But I think I've seen people even using labels there. So that's something I need to master, and I was trying to do that all day. I've believe it or not, I've been smashing it today. Like, my head is already hurting before I even started. I didn't really get anywhere either. But I did notice this, and I almost forgot about it. So you'd probably lay it out like that, a bit more C style. Yeah, so I need to remember that. Yeah, I must admit, Micro, I'm getting very confused with all the different compilers I've been using. Is that just SJASM that does that one then, yeah? Cool. You guys understand it a lot better than me. But together we can be better than some of our parts, innit? Asmo does have looping. I'm sure it did. Like, I've seen it in so many different examples today that weren't using SJASM, they were using like NES ASM and stuff like that. There was the next one, that was SJ actually. No, maybe I'll have a go at that soon then, Micro. Conditional load. It looked to me like you could just set a constant. Like, it seemed had to be a constant, so if I wanted to write like next game equals 1, and then there, down there, that's when you'd be able to use that. Assembly directive builds machine gun appropriately. Okay, so what you're saying there is doesn't have to be a constant, but does. Machine directive. Anyway, it's definitely something well interesting to look at. I was also reading about writing in C, but the general advice seems to be it's slower. You might as well stick with assembly. Otherwise, you're still going to have to know assembly anyway to do like the speed specific parts. Yeah, that's how I noticed it about that Micro. But there's other this other guy's using it in his code all over the place, just to load different values on different registers. You know, or the same register with a value depending on. It's basically an if statement, isn't it? But yeah, I didn't quite figure it out either. But it was something like what I just showed you. Anyway, I had an idea of how to do it with the X. The X it is. Or is it PX? Yeah, let's go for PX. I can't really think of a clean way of doing it. I know what I want to achieve. I just want to find out what the low byte of that is. I'll take a look at that as well. But it's so hard to understand it, isn't it? Sometimes it's all written for you. It looks intense, but I bet it's well useful, yeah. I should start using macros as well for maths. Hiya Vulcan, I'm just reading that. Yeah, I thought they were done at compile time. Well, I've seen him using it at runtime. Sure he did. Let me try and get that on the screen. No, I'm just going to go on the assumption that you're correct. Vulcan, while you're here then, do you know any way I can do a conditional load here? I want to load DE with a certain number, depending on what another number is. Because what I want to do is load DE with an offset. And that'll be a value of the size of the sprite times whatever frame we're on. But I want to be able to. Didn't I just get it to A? What did I just do? I must have deleted it. So that's the low byte of PX. And I want to compare it to. Where did I put that 50? Cross side 4. Just, I would love to be able to do that so much. I mean, if I'm gonna like jump or call a label for it, I may as well just set the sprite pointer there and then and not use DE. So this is going to be horrible. It's going to be a bunch of routines. I don't know what way around it there is. I mean, yeah, I could just load that up there. And then just ink it. So here I'd have to do nothing. And obviously it's probably less than that, not equal. I'm back in this territory doing this rubbish again. It really annoys me. I know there's better ways. Get bogged down doing what you know, you know? Gotta be more than as well, isn't it? Right there. So if it's less than, the first one should be. I thought I found a way of doing it then without having any routine. Yo, cheers, Moz. You're a dude, man. Thank you very much. That robot in there. Need him in a game, he looks pretty cool. I guess I'll just knock this in here and see if it works. Pasting. Five, wasn't there? Don't need to push and pop. I was just thinking about doing it just to keep it tidy. Oh, I hate doing it this way. I could almost think of a way of doing it just by adding this, this just a low bit of that to the sprite pointer. But then you could end up with half a sprite, so it wouldn't work. It'd have to be like divided by 51. I don't really know how to do it. It is getting crowded in there, man. It's all mainly thanks to you and a few others like Micro. Good question. I don't think so. I don't know. If someone in the chat will know. It's surprisingly quite fast though, isn't it? The processor on the 48K. Quite a lot faster than some of the others. Yeah, this is a bit of a nasty way of doing it. Should have called them 0. Now I've got this silly situation where you're doing that. It's already at player sprite, so I do just need to do nothing there. Could get rid of that, but oh, I just realised you can't even add. Can you do that? Add BC to DE? Doesn't look like it. No. What a nightmare. Oh, HL is not in use. Function numbers in BASIC. On the 48K itself, if I remember right, if you want to write assembly language, you have to get a assembler, like, or you can write it yourself into ones and zeros. I remember looking at it, but I never did it. I skipped over it. There was a way of doing it in a book that's required you buying no extra software. I think the 128K was the same megahertz, wasn't it? Not sure, maybe the +3 or something had how faster, I don't know. Oh yeah, you can do randomized USR. I remember doing something else as well. I figured it out. You could do like print. You could write print USR if you wanted. It would do the same thing. I never used BASIC, to be honest, except for when I was a very young kid. Does it, Moz? That's interesting. That's amazing. I think everyone was too poor for a BBC, mate. Someone who taught me to code online said that he grew up with a BBC. I didn't realise he was doing assembly language. So I'm hoping I can don't need that. I'm hoping I can do load BCHL. Not even sure if that's legal. Legal tender. Oh, still there. Okay, that's good. Right. So yet again, it's arse about face. Might work. I'm just trying to move it forward the right amount of bytes. Seems legit. Then I put it back into BC ready for this. DE needs to be the DE. No, it's been used. Push D. Alright, let's give that a try then. Annoyingly, I can't load it in C-Spec. Oh, it loads more than one instance. Thingy. Okay, it seems to do nothing. What I'm going to do is not move the player. See if holding right, I should still change the velocity. Oh no, that's not going to work because I'm using PX. Ah, I should use VX. Well, actually, it shouldn't have mattered. Trying to figure that out, Micro. And the value is 7 to get the frame number. Would that mean I'd have to have 7 frames? No worries. That sounds like a good idea. So you take the low byte, that's what you mean is counter, isn't it? Bit that's getting incremented that we don't see. I don't think this is going to fix anything, but I'm going to try. I'll delete that and see it here. Okay. Oh, I need to zoom in, I can't see that. It actually does move a little bit first, doesn't it? That's weird, I can only move left to right as well. Alright, forget velocity. If I don't move the player, then of course the position value never gets changed. Ah, look, see, I'm only taking the upper byte of the velocity and putting it into position. So it did need to be the velocity, or I need to come up with some other way, like storing. What the pre-shifted probably ate up a large chunk. Not sure how much that ate up. Wherever it is, there. Don't need that. We'd also need to have the exact same thing for facing left. But if you only need a few sprites in the game, it doesn't matter, does it? like a platform can be an 8x8 UDG. It didn't work, sadly. I see it when we're moving again. Oh, it's exited with error. I mean, I knew when I faced left it was going to mess up when I pressed left. I need to slow that movement down. It's so unsmooth. Hmm. Yeah, that's it. At this stage, I don't care how much memory it uses because I'm just trying to see it in action. Really, I should look at that sprite one on Spectrum Computing again. I think the problem is using that YX to pix routine. It's a bit different. I wonder, do I need to do that should work, shouldn't it? Move the pointer along. Oops. Does that work? Just trying things at this stage. While I didn't hate it. That worked. Cool. Don't get nothing on the screen. Hmm. Did I do the size wrong? Be back in a moment. Okay. That's the cool thing about the old days, though, isn't it? You showed me that devlog where someone was drawing it all on paper and then writing it in themselves instead of using an assembler. But that was a commercial game, quite a big one. I can't remember what. Oh, it was Ant Attack, wasn't it? Whatever it's called. Hmm. I think I remember my friend doing it on Amiga. Even that's bad enough. You've seen me, I get frustrated even with these tools, and these are like lightning, aren't they, compared to doing that? Why is it going up too far? Why is it not showing the correct sprite? Yes. Oh, you can't even, well maybe you can actually. Yeah, okay. You don't. Hmm. I think if not, I have to somehow set it, I have to make sure I do it off the position. Set the position in full. Well, adventure. Yeah. Bad haircut. But that clever kid ended up getting all the jobs, didn't he? It would have been nice to be in. That's weird how it doesn't. That's weird how it doesn't glitch, but it also doesn't set the right car sprite. Out of interest, I'm going to draw a few lines on here and see if we can see it. Not changing the sprite at all. Ah, why? Oh, as if this is being ignored. Whoa. Right, well, I've decided I'm not even sure if that's even signing it to the right place. It definitely has to be the PX. And if I look at PX there, I'll just be brave and delete that. Do that? I don't even know if you can do that. Oh, you can. Let's try. I was lucky. My mum worked for W.H. Smith, so I used to get all the free magazine games. Which was nice. Oh, of course, the first one has no default state now. I think it's kind of working. That's smoother than it was, for sure. I'm working on a very small screen here. Left is completely buggered at the moment. Well, weird. That's way work. I think that's working, you know. Right. Chick, chick, bang, bang. I was really lucky because I had that. I had my mum working in Smith's. Then I had this other guy who used to knock on my door with Nintendo games. You pay him £2 and give him a game, and he'd give you one. So like I used to every week trade one. Yeah, and I also had like a swimming pool near my house where they had like 10 arcade games. So I used to go down there, and then there'd be like lockers where people store their swimming, you know, when they're in swimming, and people wouldn't bother getting 20p's out of it. So I used to go into the changing rooms, grab all the 20p's I could find, go to the arcade, spend it, and then go and do the same thing all day. Great times. Nowadays, they'd probably have child services on me for that. Yeah, it was like a swimming pool, yeah, quite a big swimming centre, but it had like 6 or 7 decent arcade machines, like Alien Storm, like 1990 it was. That's awesome, was. I'm gonna check that. Way, is that your quill one? That's quality. Specky Soft. Is that your own label? That's brilliant. Have you still got the source code? Have you? That's got to be like a relic or something. That should be in the gaming museum. I actually think this is working. I wonder why when I hold left now, it seems to go slower. Because of this, isn't it? Lockdown present. I bet you love that though. Does he still do coding for the Spectrum? Or has he completely given up with that? I haven't completely given up on the next. I'm going to do it. I've decided, but I've just got to speed up the workflow of moving it to the SD card every time you want to run it. It's not actually that bad if you think about it. I guess I could try and flip it now. No, I'm going to pretend there's no such thing as flip. Actually, I have to. That's why it's behaving all weird going left. How I've figured it out on the next, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Micro, but this is how I've figured it out. You run it in C-Spect, which, thanks to the help of Richmond Mike, I actually have it running. I'll show you it. So that's next emulator. He is, man. He helped me a lot here. I'm going to continue with it, try and get it working. But he gave me his reasoning why he can't be bothered. He thinks it's too much hassle. But to be fair, I think I can live with the hassle if that's the only stumbling block. But I must admit, if I run into more stumbling blocks along the way, I'll be like, oh, it'll start to add up. But you have to be in here. You can't compile into. There's no like debug settings, and I couldn't connect to it. And from what I read, you have to flash your own file into the SD card, into the false SD card using an ISO type. Then you reboot this with that, because this is running off an SD card right now, fake SD card. But it is a bit of hassle, but it's so worth it if I get over this hassle, because people are going to be buying next games. Yeah, that's nothing. Oh yeah, yeah, Octopus, isn't it? Found out my mum is with Octopus, and her internet's terrible. Zeus. Yeah, but native, doesn't that mean I have to run it on the actual machine? Maybe I'll try that then. It might be better. But then again, it might be easier just to flash that. It's not that hard to make a fake flash card and to move your file to it. It's not that hard. You know. Take probably 20-30 seconds if you knew what you know, if you've done it 100 times before. Yeah, that could be tricky doing it on there, because when you type, there's like a delay in there. At least on my computer there is. Although, let me try that then. I'll have one more look, because that would be interesting. Basically, the whole time I'd be in there, I wouldn't need VS Code. Yeah, I mean, maybe if it types quickly on here. So I'd need to install Zeus onto that SD card, and then I'd be able to run it. I wonder if I can quickly type. There's no Control A or anything like that. Comments. Long ribs. Fair play, my dude. Fair play. I'm thinking that this might work now. If I flip it, it might already be working, because when I go left, it behaves weird. But you'd kind of expect that velocity goes into a minus state. Oh, I need to open the window again. Yeah, it's definitely working. You can move it quite smooth now. But I need to flip him, unfortunately, so it's even more data. The Vulcan, look away. This is like a horror film to you, or something like that. Like a bad comedy show. Guess I want him to be all the way over to the left, and I to the right. That's a good point. How do we know where to start that from? Well, it obviously has to. What do you mean by 1 pixel movement, sorry? What, on... How can I do 1 pixel movement? That sounds crazy. Fire pit. Where do you live, Vulcan? What country? England, yeah? I will start from the right, don't worry, yeah. But I was wondering what you said about the 1 pixel movement. Did you mean like South London? Nice. I actually do think this will work pretty well. Right, so you meant an extra bunch, like basically twice the amount of sprites, yeah? That's what I thought you might have meant. But then I was also thinking maybe I could just move, instead of moving a whole byte. I get you. Anyway, let's do this. Because I'm way out of my comfort zone. That's why these videos have slowed down, sadly. Because I'm in the realms of stuff that I've never really tried before now. Right, let's just label it. So the same routine should be able to be used twice. Seemed pretty smooth with 2 pixels. Yeah, it is, Moz. It is. It just gets a bit, or scary is not the right word, but it gets a bit worrying when I'm streaming and I'm just doing absolutely nothing because I'm going to pee everyone off. But as long as we get some sort of progress by the end, it's all good, wouldn't it? I was gutted to abandon the other one, but I'd lost so much work. I had to replace and start deleting lots of work I'd done. Thought it'd be better off to start something new. I keep changing my mind on the next though, because tomorrow when I wake up, I'm certainly going to try and. What I wanted to do was come on today with just showing how to draw a sprite on the next, and that would be about it. You know, move it about. But then I realised that SD card thing, and I was like, get out of town. No, and it doesn't let you export. You have to. You have to choose whether you get the comment or not as well, really. It is an absolutely great piece of software though, this. I hated it the first time, and now I love it. Well, this is the issue I've had, Vulcan. I run the next, as you see, in C-Spec. I write code for the next. I get all the different directives. Oh, cheers, Moz. You're an absolute dude, man. But yeah, I get so far as booting the next up and getting into the OS, and then I cannot push my code into the next. It's like a closed machine. So it's running off an SD card, and from what I read, you have to flash your SD card, the fake SD card, with the new data, and then reboot the next. It's not really that bad, but because I didn't even have a clue what to do, I gave up with it pretty quick. It started getting late, you know. I knew I'd have to be on to do something. There we go. There we go. I mean, these actually don't need the R. It does the same thing no matter whether it's R or not. In fact, all of that's the same, except this either points to the bummer. It is just R specific now, isn't it? Oh well. At least I can see if it works. Find a better way later. That makes this a bit more simple, at least. That should actually do it, I think, shouldn't it? I could have just worked out from velocity being plus or minus, to be honest. I don't actually need that bull. I might just set it there though to make life easier. And yeah, I figured it out. I forgot about that. The reason I was messing up was because of the use of the flags here. Like you can't use C and NC when you're dealing with 16-bit. I think this will look a bit clunky, but it'll be better than nothing. If we're allowed out by next summer. Sounds awesome, Vulcan. I'll be on that. Oh god, I didn't realise my sprite drawing thing was still there. I do apologise. I actually wrote a multiplayer game quite a few times in Unity, and in the end I wrote a master server program as well, which was just a version of my game that didn't have a screen or anything. I run that on my home PC, opened the ports and that, and my friends on Discord could connect and play my game. It all worked. I lost that code, sadly. It was worth its weight. It's worth a lot of money, that bloody code. In Unity, it's really hard to set up without using their networking code. Gauntlet clone. Do you know what I've recently learned using the 16-bit scrolling? I could probably manage like a level of Gauntlet, 2 levels or something. But yeah, Gauntlet's too clever because they use, there's so many levels, but they obviously reuse, but they still fit it into a small game. Whereas obviously you see me struggling doing that. But I think the more times I do it, I'll gradually improve, even though it looks like a backward step quite a lot. I've still learnt stuff along the way. 4 miles from Crawley. That's cool. I was born in Hastings, which is quite near. Not that near. Yeah, Gauntlet was ace. I'm actually thinking about a Final Fantasy clone, Final Fantasy 1. I think that wouldn't be that hard. You'd have to make it much smaller. With very little graphics, just reuse all the graphics. Maybe change the colours. Damn, what was I pausing for? I finished. Doing this horrible approach. So I only jumped to the right, but it's going to return. I think it's fine. Oh yeah, I was setting the up. Yeah, the more you can reuse it, the better, isn't it? How much do you know about NES dev, Vulcan? Because I've done a NES. I drew an 8x8 sprite today on the NES, and it was remarkably easy. The compiler just worked straight away. Everything was fine. But what scared me was the sprite sheets. Like it's split into little 8x8 chunks, and they seem like they've got no rhyme nor reason. They're just scattered about everywhere on the sprite sheet. Couldn't imagine trying to do that on the NES. Game Boy Advance. Cool, cool. I'll have to check that out sometime. So many different ones to check out. Have a look at this though. This might look, I mean, it's going to be crap. Oh dear. It's going to be crap, but it might actually be good. Oh, Whoops. Okay. I'm a bit funny, I have to have lefts above rights. Oops, I was checking if it loaded and I died. The left looks funky. Goes backwards, doesn't it? I thought that would happen. Now I had that feeling. So perhaps we can just cycle through them backwards. Let's try it. Well, hey, it feels well smooth. Telling you. Especially if I tweak some of them constants to make it even better. Gravity and. Well, hey. I mean, weird. Left seems to be slower than right though. Have you ever done the Sega Master System, Vulcan? Because I was reading about the graphics modes on that. They seem awesome. You can either be in like a 2-color per cell mode or 16-color per cell, and it was quite a high resolution, like 200 and something. Yeah, I know. Only the Speccy has this manual sprite shift. Yeah, Sega Master System, man, looks really fun. It's very similar instruction set to the Speccy here. I mean, I've got nowhere near into it yet. I haven't even figured out how to do the sprite, but I did do the Hello World, which I brought up earlier on the screen. I used something called Context. Oh god, it's loaded up on the screen. Sorry, I might as well quickly load it now. Here's my string. There's no string, there's no font or anything though. You have to create the font yourself. Copied all this off a tutorial. There you go though, that's the Master System. Got a string printed on there. Atari 2600, I love that system as well. But yeah, it's got like, I used to make achievements for that, and it's such small memory, you can see it all just in one screen, just out of the corner of your eye while you're coding. Yeah, Moz. It definitely is, man. Thank you, dude. I was thinking of the exact same thing as that, to be honest. Yeah, Vulkan, it is crazy. It is. It's unique experience coding for this machine. I've forgotten almost everything I know about any other system now, just because of the Spectrum. I'm all about character cells, loading A, pushing and popping. I mean, this is progress, but it's definitely a horrible approach to doing it. But it does work. It seems something's going on with my left. And I'm sure that's because when it goes into minus. Oh, thank you, Moz. Mate, you're a ledge. Snowman. Awkwardly placed nose in that snowman. It is balls to the wall. Because I can still remember thinking, how can draw into a virtual memory and then to the screen? How can that be better than just draw into the screen? But even that still baffles me. I mean, I kind of get it. Because you wait until everything's ready to be drawn and then just push it all to the screen. Why is left quicker than right, slower than right then? I think it's because when you're going right, the sprite is actually starting from the origin. Yeah, that's the pre-shifted sprite. But when you turn left, it has to catch up a bit with the origin. See what I mean? And it only catches up if you hold it long enough, otherwise it won't. Yeah, true that, Vulcan. Nowadays they have like triple buffering and all that sort of stuff, don't they? When I was writing that double buffering, I read up on Wikipedia about video buffering, and it was quite an insane concept. You know, they've got like this pyramid of layers of buffers nowadays in programs. I used to have a color TV that had a dial to tune it in. Can't imagine playing Specky with black and white though. Like some games would be fine, but you wouldn't have to worry about color clash though, would you? You could determine the colours. I tell you what, I read about the Spectrum actually. The 7 colours or the 8 colours were chosen because they work in grayscale as well, don't they? They just get darker and darker. Great news, Vulcan. Great times. I love remembering stuff like that. Channel 4 was mad in back in the day, wasn't it? Oh, I love Colour Clash. It was just something you accepted back in the day, wasn't it? You thought that was just a limitation of computers. Just accepted it. That was a fact. I think I've sussed out why he goes left, slower, but I don't know how to fix that. Other than maybe, oh, I'll never look at it. It's just weird. Why is it so much slower going left? Um, I need to learn about them flags as well. If you notice, I can only use exact equal. I haven't been able to do like greater than, less than. Of course, Vulcan. Some of them games where they were like side-scrolling beat 'em ups and stuff from the later 128K era just didn't give two craps about color clash. You just walked through everything. So out of interest, I want to see what happens if I let it be -2. That offsets it and makes it feel really good to play. Perfect. Yeah, yeah. There were some though that were insane. You might have seen them, that beat 'em ups. Can't think of the names now. But you'd walk past a wall and just turn red, for example. But it wasn't even like that. I can't even explain it. Like part of your body wasn't red. Synapse. Like I say, I never gave two craps about Color Clash. Dizzy the Egg was my favourite game. All of them. And there's so much Color Clash in that. It's unreal. Sometimes you can't even see Dizzy. You can just see a flicker of his animation. So for some reason that fixed it anyway by doubling the negative one. So I think what's happening is, no, I don't know what's happening, but somehow managed to figure it out. So using negative 16-bit is still very much confusing me as well. I'm only checking the upper byte there. It's weird. I'm allowing a velocity of 2 there and only 1 for the right, but it works. What one looks okay? Dizzy. Have you ever seen Dizzy? Some of it, when he walks past like a tree. Like I said, it doesn't bother me. I actually didn't mind it one bit. It didn't ruin the game experience at all. That's brilliant. So what I need to do next is have a target position and check for platforms. If I collide with something that's marked as a platform, I won't move. Or then again, he can crash into that. Can't he? No, I'm going to do it this way. I notice I use OX which was the prefix I've always seen, but I didn't really know of any others. I have seen the dollar sign a lot, but a lot of them don't actually see that as legal, do they? The ones I was using today. Big Commando was awesome. I don't remember Operation Wolf. I remember the name. Maybe when I get really advanced, something like Gauntlet is not totally out of my reach. Because I've just got to learn how to reuse tiles of graphics a lot more. And also just, change their colour. Give a whole different world. Space Harrier is an epic thingy in it. Get ready. I'm actually chuffed with that movement. That's really good. So now I've got TX and TY. That's going to be the position I will be in next frame. Similarly to how I did it before with Mikey, the original. Do 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 da da. So it's basically try move instead of move. That's how I did it. We have to move. I'm going to push this to GitHub. I like it and I want to see it again if I lose it. I've actually started a new GitHub repo. All the so for every project I'm going to have a new repo. Oh damn! I haven't got one for this yet. Sod it. Bothered. I'll just copy this one. Basically, I want to do the exact same thing but with these. Oh. Now, for now, I'll just make it so there's no such thing as crashing down. If it's moving down, we'll just let him land. If there's a platform. This is going to take a lot of work before I get to the next stage. Probably not even this video because I've got to do the collision detection. I've got to create the concept of a platform, spawn some platforms, and then I can test, with the collision. Once it finds that there's no collision, then I have to do, this will be called try move. Or move target position. Try move is fine. And then do move. But it would also need to check the collision. But put it at the bottom. Firstly, I'll put a bool there, collide. Not quite sure how to do that. I could, for example, do the bool here. That'll probably work for now, but that's not very generic. Do move. We just want to set px to be tx, and same for y. I was jealous of the sound and colours. I can remember when I didn't actually know that many people with a C64 or a BBC, but when I finally got a C64 second hand, it blew me away. I thought it was amazing. I didn't even notice that it was like slower and a lot of stuff. I was only a youngster. I've never played Doctor Who on the BBC. That sounds cool. I'll have to try that out on stream sometime. But Vulcan, do you know what games there are on BBC other than Elite and Doctor Who? 'Cause I might do a whole night of, or a whole like day, even in a daytime stream, playing BBC games. Oh, is it awful? Is it? Well, just for the theme tune, I could try it and then turn it off 5 minutes later. Chucky Egg. Yeah, and they obviously had Elite, but I wouldn't want to play that the whole day. Or the whole stream, I should say, not the whole day. So now I'll just put in here set EX, EX. So you imagine, I should come up with a concept for the platforms first. I'm going to have to try and visualize it and just pretend it works. You'd have an array of platforms, of course. I mean, I could probably just copy this out of the Mikey code with the desks. The exact same thing. The only difference is I'm using a 16-bit position for the player, but I only use the higher bytes. I don't care about the low bytes. So if I was being super lazy, I would copy that in here now, but I'm going to try and write it from scratch. But essentially, I'm going to use IX platforms. And that's it. Simple as that. We're checking with TX, like TY, not position. I don't like this name because I'm actually checking the target and it's not really a collision. It's like next. Somehow. 40 billion. Didn't hear anything like that. That's a lot of money though, isn't it? Jeez. They're charging too much for their graphics cards, obviously. Ah, that's going to get the low bit of TX, isn't it? I'm going to have to use HL. Oh, I see. Cool, you know your stuff, man. Because I read little bits and bobs over the years, but it goes in one ear out the other, basically. Also, my brain, I forget things. You know, my brain mixes up bits of information, makes up sometimes without me knowing it. Anyway, that's just checking. That's checking. Is the player to the right side of the platform? Missed it. So I already know how I'm going to set up the platform. Archimedes, it's another thing I've heard of. Don't know much about it. Where'd them brackets come from? I didn't press that. I'll optimize it later. I was just thinking, can I load B straight away with what's in HL there? Probably can't. Wait, have I done that the right way around? Top of car. Bottom. That's fine. Yeah, they're probably worth quite a bit now, and you never know. The interest might just die off as people interested in it die off. I don't know. It could go one way or the other, couldn't it? Could be worth loads more in the future. Oops, what the heck? Of course, it's not Ret C. I need to jump to the next. I'll make some platforms now. What I'll do is make one platform or two, but like one will be just running the whole bottom of the screen, the other will be like up higher doing the same thing, just to test it. What I want to do eventually is create a UDG. In fact, there's already a UDG. So I want to relearn how to use them. So I could use an existing UDG. I'll just do that. There's a black square. Problem is, I just want to test the collision, and now I'm having to write a tiled sprite routine. I don't even know if we need to update platform. None of them are going to move. Of course, we'd have to come up with a clever way of laying out each screen. Like I say, I just want to test the collision. I just want to put two platforms in there. So here's alive. X0, Y 180, width 24. That's going to need to be 2 actually because of the buffer gutter. Height 8. All we need. Okay. When I think about it, don't even need to draw it to test it. That should just be enough, shouldn't it? Because I knew back in the day we used to think Acorn and BBC computers were the same in primary school. And now I'm just going to change the border. Or in fact, I can do a sound. Oh, I need to move him. Is that going to work, Jack and Vulcan? Am I doing the right thing there? I just want to move that, copy that amount. That. Right. And this should be the platforms. Have I loaded it? I think it has to be above that. Oh yeah, it was only this bit, sorry dude. It was only that bit I was asking if that was like a valid way of moving that bit of data. I'll try it, it's just as quick in it. Soon find out. I think that'll work. I mean, I only really want to do that when moving down for now. I mean, yes, you don't want to be able to drive through a platform and go up. I want to handle it different. Now, I suppose I can check the direction. I'd love to know what what systems people had before the Vic. Way before my time, but it's interesting to know. It might just work now. Oh no, it had problems. Oh. Ah. Oh, I'm trying to load it in C-Spec again. Well, why did I start all the way up there? Well, didn't seem to work. Oh, we did get a sound. Perhaps it did work. Wait there. Why don't I just handle it properly instead of doing that? Set the ball. Ball. And then that's already working up here to not move you. I'll also change the border colour. Just so I know that it's triggering it. Why am I starting all the way up there all of a sudden? Oh, target position. I need to set it to be EY. Don't think I can do that, can I? I'll just set it to be. Right. Yeah, I think it might work. Why am I starting up there though? No, it didn't collide at all. It was pretty goddamn cool. Z80, brilliant. It's a strange one, this, because it is moving. So I'm moving the target, then I set it to the target. I guess the the problem is probably in this collision code then. They probably, I don't know. Oh, I can't move left and right now. Let's do move. Why? But that shouldn't matter with the collision. Yeah, it's pretty smooth because I reckon I could tweak it. Movement, good progress. But what the hell is going on with the collision? Maybe I've missed something out here. Just try making these platforms easier. I mean, it doesn't help that this spawning at the top. Didn't be able to do that. I just add to it. It's not like I changed the position for velocity. Well, that's just the X. See, the Y is already in pixels, so I didn't need to do it the same as the X. Just worried about the top byte. Just does the same thing now. It adds the number in V, C. Let me see. Just remove these. Does it ever collide? And I still haven't figured out why it's spawning at the screen. No collision. Well, constant collision, so it does at least get there. Seems like the X was killing it. Wonder if I only enable that. So. Just realised, seeing as we're starting at the top of the screen, I'm going to start both of them quite low, so I don't just hit it straight away. Odyssey. I've heard of that Magnavox or something. Pretty cool. One day people are going to be collecting them things, I reckon, all these old computers. I mean, for big money. Damn it, I think I've just finished. I'll try that. No collision. Okay, it collides now. Weird. Well, weird. Get rid of the noise. Cooking the ribs to perfection. What have I done wrong here then? I mean, 16, easily. I don't think there's any way it could fall straight through. Oh, IO is lower. Struggle to see why that doesn't work. It's not like you have to draw them to test the collision, is it? I don't think I need any other data, just that. Ah. I bet my life that it's something in here, but random typing. Okay. Oh wait there. Is that the wrong way round? Target left, like his left shoulder, back of the car. B. Microman knows how to do it. Sounds good. Sounds good. That does sound nice though. Yeah. Oh, here's the. I need to add the player's width. But it's the wrong way round again. This is the player's left side going into B. And I was saying it's smaller than, that's how I normally do it. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Platform's left side is in B. I need to add the width on this one. I guess I might as well try it because that was wrong, and I think right, but the Y could still be wrong, almost certainly. So that's player's top going into B. Is wrong. No, it's not. The smaller one has to be in A. If player's top is a bigger number than platform bottom. Looks like I don't add the height though. Clearly don't want to do it. Okay, well I don't think it's going to work, but I think it has made it correct. Nah, no, I'll draw the picture. It's look. We're like cavemen over here. Wonder why that doesn't work. Get a deep fat fryer big enough to flash fry a pig whole. Hmm. Do need to ink. Yeah. Actually filled her out with hardening. That's funny. I'm pretty certain inking is the correct thing to do there because my position is only done the big part. I wonder why. I just realised by gravity definitely shouldn't be happening as well if well it should actually. It has to. That's what the problem is. By gravity. I know. That only changes the velocity. It's getting confusing now. Never had that stuff. Get out. Yeah, I've never even heard of that. Mhm. Mhm. Of course, its width is 3 anyway. That shouldn't make. I'm not even concerned about the X working with. I suppose the key probably lies into why the heck it's starting at the top. Where's it gone now? What the hell? Hmm. What's going on there then? Oh. Oh. Could be the reason. Yeah, that's better. Oh, it's hit the platform and stopped. No, I can't move at all now. Oh, probably because I need to reset the target position back to the player every time after it's done the move. In fact, just before it does the scatter. Rename that to set target position. I think there's more to it than that. I need to set the velocity to 0. But as well, I need to, at some point, I can't figure out when, I need to set the target position to the player's position before I try and move it. Set this velocity y to 0. Wait, how's best to do that? Not sure if that works either, but I'll take off again. There's obviously a collision still, and therefore for some reason I'm stuck to it. But it shouldn't happen like that. I should be able to push up. Yeah, that's what I like about Canadians as well. Or based. So that is working now, but I'm just stuck to it. Ah, I just need to set that ball to be false. What it is. I can probably do that at the start of this routine, to be honest. could do it. Oh, I fell through the floor. And I know why, yeah. Damn. Because of setting the target position. Also, the velocity never gets reset. That stays at a positive number. It's progress, but it's going to need a lot of work there. Funny how you didn't change colour of the border. Thing is, it's going to fall down, hit the platform, and then the next frame, if I set it to false, because I've set the target position back to the player's position, tried to move it again, the velocity is already quite high. I think it would fix it just by setting the velocity to 0 actually. Like back. Forgotten now. Oh yeah, the velocity. Yeah, it works fine. Give it that noise, that's horrible. Chicken ready. Sounded like an alarm, didn't it? Funny how it caused the sound, but it wouldn't change the colour of the board. Epic, cheers, Mod. To be fair, this is chicken dance worthy. I need to create a little GIF that I can put on when people play this. Epic. Tune, isn't it, Vulcan? Yeah, I agree. I think I'm almost at an end here, though, to be honest, because I want to have a long think about drawing the platforms. As you can see, I can take off from it, and I haven't done X yet, and I haven't reset the X velocity, but it works pretty well. I'm going to create a new GitHub. I'll put a link on this video on YouTube as well, but you should be able to find it just by browsing on GitHub into my folders. But I haven't done it yet because I've got to create a repo. Get up, everybody. Start raving. But this actually works really well, so it might be something you want to look at on GitHub in your own time. Believe it or not, it's working pretty fancy, and that's got collision prevention in it, not just detection, so you're not falling into the platform. It should stop you going anywhere, like it's on exactly the same place. Find me by looking for the smoke. This is awesome though. But the next thing I'm going to do to this game is create 8 by 8 tiles and start using the tile set, create platforms and stuff like that. Some sort of space taxi thing, you know, something obviously much more basic than space taxi. The controls are not forgiving enough I need to maybe slow it down somewhat. So, although it's all right. Although yeah, we haven't got the whole width of the screen. It's going to be very basic, isn't it? But laugh. I'm actually chuffed with that. How the platform works perfectly. Suppose before I go, I could quickly try and do the X. So, for example, that bottom one will be Z80. Let's see, don't keep falling through them. And this one will also be 10 wide, but we'll start it from 14. Now have it 90 high. So, whoa, cheers, Moz. You might have been drinking too much, mate. You're so generous. Can't complain, though. Definitely keeps me going. I mean, I would be here anyway, man. You know that. I'd be here if I wasn't getting any bits. Drop that guy's head in a jar. I hope it stays there. It's looking well for it now. I think that for some reason they get rid of it. Clear it out. Oh yeah, I was going to try the X. I mean, I don't know why it wasn't working with that there. Maybe it will. We just have to imagine they're there. This one should fall. Yeah, and then there's one. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Ah, not perfect. Of course, I could create a platform at the top to stop you from, or just come up with a separate bit of code. Like his spy car, yeah. Maybe we'll have a cutscene. I want to venture into making little cutscenes. We could have Spikey get into the car for a night's work, you know, doing a bit of taxiing. Taking off. Of course, you've got to be mega careful with how much graphics. It'd have to be a super basic cutscene, but it'd still be fun. But yeah, straight away tomorrow. Although I was planning on trying out the Next and the Master System, I think this has piqued my interest again. So I'll draw these platforms in an 8x8 tile form. Get a few other 8x8 tiles. We'll use UDGs as well, so we're not actually going to be using any of the memory. It's already used, isn't it? Yo, Viable Clan member. Posture check. Glad you're still here, man. I am just about to sign out now. But we've made quite big progress there, believe it or not. I mean, if someone was watching this on mute, they'd think I'd made no progress whatsoever. That platform is there, it just needs to be drawn. There's no way you get that little slip. Oh, it's the velocity. Ah, missed. Oh, I'm still alive. And there we go. I think it's nudged down a bit because I went off the screen and messed it up. I have to come up with code to stop him doing that. He was watching on mute. Nice. Joust. Ooh. I'd love to try Joust, although the collision might be hard because you have to really handle it quite accurately. Car white noise. Oh, cheers, Moz. Superstar, channel promoter, channel donator. Absolute legend. Look at that animated heart. I don't know where that came from. I did play Renegade on the Spectrum. I got quite far on it actually in the end. I had a few playthroughs of that. Yeah, thank you, Moz. You're keeping me in jam and biscuits, man. I'm getting the good stuff now, you know. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of with the bad colour clash, wasn't it? The beat 'em ups. It's fun though. It doesn't bother me whatsoever, the colour clash. Yeah, the animation is cool. I tell you what, there's a market of learning how to make cool little icon animations like that now. Colour clash. It's where you've got the spectrum can only handle 2 colours per cell, and a cell is like 8 pixels by 8. So if you're using 2 colours for your sprite, and then you walk past another colour, that colour gets deleted and just changed, you know. And it depends how you handle that as well, what happens next. But some games suffered with it a lot where they just didn't care about it. Get big blocks of colour coming out of the sprite. Unique to the ZX Spectrum pretty much. Yeah, I can't say thank you enough for that, Moz. That's a massive boost. When I wake up in the morning, every time I see these boosts, and it encourages me even further to keep going with the channel. Don't know where it would have been, especially Moz and Micro. You've been there right from the start. Most streams, so it's really helpful. You know, more than that. I can't wait till tomorrow really to do more. But I'm just a bit tired out now. If I don't stop now, I'll be knackered. Yeah, time to go because I'll just end up writing gobbledygook code otherwise. I think that's maybe what went wrong with Spiky in Space. I wrote too much without testing it enough. Yeah, it's been a great stream tonight. It's been quite a busy one. So I'm really pleased about that. I hope all of you come back and watch again. Exactly, man. I don't want it to be a chore whatsoever. Like, I've got enough of that with work and other things, you know. This is like my escape from that, and I really enjoy it, to be honest. Getting better and better as well. I never thought I'd be able to make this sort of gravity simulation that we've got going on. I know that's a bit of a stretch calling it a gravity simulation. But work, it's crap, mate. I just do delivery driving. Mostly in the evenings, so I come back at about 11ish and start streaming. I'm on my week off this week, but it's nearly run out. Back to work next week. You'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, Vulcan. Yeah, it's been great having you here, man. That added knowledge always helps as well. Yeah, it's annoying. I've had a tough life, to be fair. Everything goes wrong, you know. Every decision I've made's been the wrong one for many years. But that's another story. It could be worse. It could always be worse. Yeah, exactly, Moz. It just came out of nowhere. I didn't look up a tutorial or anything. Just thought of it and did it, and it's working. So well happy. I guess I've got to try and work on polished in the games. You know, make them look nice, sound nice. That's about it, really. And obviously more on these 16-bit. I haven't quite grasped the minus the signed 16-bit numbers. I mean, I have, but it's by fluke partly. Like trial and error. Yeah. Anyway, I'll shoot off now. But I'll be on tomorrow. I try and do it earlier, but I keep saying that and then I never do. But yeah, it's never too late. I do still hold out hope. I know various things about almost every language, so I do hold out hope one day of either starting my own business or getting a job doing it. Yeah, it's true. Oh, cheers, Mod, you dude. Absolute dude. Can I do React? What is React? Oh, not quite sure what you mean by that, Clan. I love that pog face pose, that's funny. Yeah. Popular web framework. I've never done web development. I've made one like website with a login using MySQL and PHP or something, but that was many years ago, and I didn't really enjoy it at the time. So a web crayon thing. Okay, I'm definitely more into game development, and I actually like creating game engines. Like not game engines, but I like to create reproducible code that I can create. It's almost like a template of a game. What I'm always trying to think of normally. Although this time today I've been doing specific movement. Oh, Vulcan, thank you, man. That's so nice of you guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, time to go because I'm going to watch myself one episode of Star Trek. I'm still on the Next Generation. Getting near the end now. You enjoyed the second spot. Well done, Bulk. Bit of competition like that. I'm not going to complain. Just heads, yeah. Mikey's got a bit of his torso out. When someone subscribes next, they'll get a Mikey drop in there. I don't hate Wesley, but he's gone now. I'm watching it. I think I told you before, it's Deanna Troy. She is annoying. I can't stand her episodes of her in it, to be honest. But Picard's funny. I just have a good laugh while I'm watching it, really. Yeah, I watched that one recently, Clan. That's brilliant where he learns a little flute. Yeah. Yeah, she's so annoying. It does ruin the show, actually. I'm going to be moving on to Deep Space Nine quite soon. I've only got about 7 or 8 episodes left. Dharma's Chip Chair, I'm not sure what that is either. Oh, I get you now. He's a serial killer, isn't he? Chops off heads to take it. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys. I'm going to close the stream now. Look out for me tomorrow night because I'll try and get on earlier, like 10ish. But don't hold me to that if I get delayed. But yeah, hope to see you then at some point.